You shouldn't have to binge watch 13 hours of YouTube videos to figure out how to do a keto diet. I'm going to give you everything you need to know in 5 super simple steps so you can start today in under 7 minutes. Let's dive in. First, the good news. You're going to stop eating grains. You're going to avoid vegetable seed oil as much as humanly possible. No more processed food, and you're going to stop eating and drinking sugar. If it comes in a bag, bottle, or box, with rare exceptions, it probably shouldn't be a part of your keto diet. That's the good news? Oh, it is. Vegetable seed oils are full of omega-6 fatty acids. They're highly inflammatory. They just wreak havoc on the body. Grains, sugars, and other carb-dense foods, they cause chronically high levels of insulin and glucose, which are the primary drivers of obesity, type 2 diabetes, fatty liver disease, metabolic syndrome, high blood pressure, insulin resistance, chronic inflammation, heart attack, and stroke. And it plays a significant role in degenerative cognitive diseases like Alzheimer's and dementia. The list is so long, I had to read it off my notes. I couldn't remember them all. And I cut it short so I could stay under 8 minutes. Getting rid of that stuff in your diet, it really is good news. Now for the great news. Animal products are going to make up the majority of the nutrients and calories that you're going to get in your diet.
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys.
Nutrient dense, great tasting food. Fatty red meat, bacon, eggs, real butter. Throw in some fish, seafood, chicken, pork. And on top of that, you're going to add in some real full fat dairy. Put heavy whipping cream in your coffee if you want. Eat real cheese. If you have a taste for it, you can have full fat cottage cheese or yogurt even. But one thing to keep in mind with your meat, we want the fat. Don't spend extra money buying lean cuts or 80-20 ground beef. Buy the 70-30 and don't trim all the fat off the outside. If you eat chicken, eat the skin. The fat's an essential nutrient. We really need it, and it's an awesome fuel for the body to run on. And this doesn't have to be expensive. Most of us can't afford grass-fed organic ribeye all the time. I know we can't. If you have to do keto with hot dogs and lunch meat, well, it's still 100 times better than the standard American diet. So don't get stressed out about that. And number 3 is for the vegetable lovers among us. You're going to be eating real whole food, low carb vegetables, leafy greens, broccoli, cauliflower, zucchini, squash. A great way to cook your vegetables, by the way, saute them in bacon grease or add butter. It really makes them taste great, and it will help ensure that you get plenty of high quality animal fat in your diet. And a good rule of thumb is half your plate should be covered with meat and animal fat, the other half with low carb, real vegetables. There's no counting calories, there's no counting points, there's no portion control or anything like that. Fill your plate up with what you want to eat and eat until you're comfortably stuffed. And when you're hungry, eat again. But try to avoid eating between meals as much as possible. If you're hungry enough to eat a meal, eat a meal. If you're not, then try to wait until you actually are. And you're going to round out your diet with some nuts and berries. And try to eat those with your meal if you can, or at least as close to the end of your meal as possible. And don't go crazy on this one. If you're just grazing throughout the day on nuts and berries, you really can jack up your carb intake without being aware of it. So keep that in mind. Ideally, you want to be under 100 total carbs a day. Now, that's not net, right? That's total carbohydrates a day. An important thing to remember about fruit, modern fruit, it's just radically different than it was even just a few hundred years ago. So if you begin to add fruit into your diet that's not blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, those sort of things, you're really going to elevate your carb intake. And it's just going to hit you like sugar. It's going to cause an insulin spike and a glucose spike. You really want to keep those things as low as you can in order to maximize your weight loss and to improve your health as quickly as you can. And one last thing, peanuts, they're not really nuts. Now, I ate them when I first started doing keto, and I still have them on rare occasion, but they're really not ideal. Number 5, you're likely to feel a little off for a few days or maybe even a week or so, and that's perfectly normal. It takes the body a while to adapt to running on ketones and burning fat, especially if it's been running on an endless supply of carbohydrates for years. And carb addiction is a real thing. But don't give up here. As soon as that time passes, you're going to start feeling great. And there are a few things you can do to kind of ease your transition. First of all, you may want to start the first week or two closer to the 100 carb a day intake as opposed to lower on the scale. And then once you get a week or two into it and you're feeling good, then begin to move that down. You drop that carb intake down to 50 or below, you're really going to accelerate your progress. And electrolytes are vitally important. Salt is your friend. So salt your food to taste. Don't be afraid of that. It's important to make sure that you get enough. And you may want to purchase a quality electrolyte drink mix, or you can make your own, which is what we do. And there's a video I have on how to do that if you want to check it out later. And finally, don't overcomplicate this. Just get started. The best training is on the job training. Sure, there's a lot more that you can learn. There's a lot more to discover. There's a lot of ways to tweak your diet to optimize your progress, your weight loss, and your health goals. But don't let that hold you back from getting started. And if you have any specific questions or would like some more details, then let me know in the comments below, and I'd be happy to answer those questions the best that I can. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.